3 years ago, I was at the Colombia Medellin airport coming back from an epic 2 week adventure far off the beaten path in Colombia. Definitely the only gringos around for a while, a lot of the trip. And I was at the airport with my homie coming back, and we took a shot of the local drink in Colombia at the airport. And that was 3 years ago this week. So now I'm officially 3 weeks alcohol free, which is kind of crazy. And it feels amazing. I've been kind of reflecting on like what life without alcohol means and like why it's had a big impact on me. And I don't know why I think what it means to be like in your 30s and not drinking and alcohol free. And so I wanted to kind of make a video about it, share a little bit about my experience, how I got to the point of no drinking, not drinking anymore, and just share some thoughts. So this for me, like I always really liked drinking for a long time. I worked at a bar, we drank a lot. It was definitely part of stuff. My body like never really handled alcohol very well, so I was not like a good drinker, and it for sure got me in a lot of trouble in my life. Very much grateful that it wasn't in like super 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 bad trouble, or e- unfixable trouble. um, but yeah, alcohol just was like never my best friend by any means. And so, over the years, let's say into my mid to late 20s, I started drinking less and less because I was like, let me do like dry January, let me do sober October. I'm gonna take a month off just because, and so I would take a little bit of time off, and it would like keep going. I'd be like, oh, cool, like January 31st, like I feel great. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. And so over, the course of a couple of years, I just was drinking less and less and less, and it always just felt really good not to drink, but then going back to drinking also felt good. And like for me it was like, okay, cool, like I'll have a drink on the weekend, I'll have, like we'll go out and party, whatever, um, once a week. And then it was like twice a week, and it was like, I'll have a drink with like dinner on a Thursday night, and then and it just always kept like creeping back and just playing a bigger and bigger part. And I would like take these breaks, and it would feel great, and I'd go back to it, and it would also feel great, but it just over time kept feeling less good. Like I just stopped feeling as good when I was drinking, and it just got worse, honestly. So I always like thought when I worked at the bar, there was like this very specific interaction I had with a alcohol salesman, and he comes into the bar like a alcohol rep, liquor rep, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not drinking right now." I think I was not drinking too, like at the bar for a month, and he's like, "Yeah, um, I'm not drinking right now tonight. I'm just hanging out." But yeah, like there was 1 year in my life where I did like a full year alcohol free, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And this was like 2017, maybe 16, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I want to do that one time." And so, like 5 years later, I finally was like, "All right, this is the year. I'm gonna just do 1 year free," and that was in 2021. And so, I got back from this trip, took that last shot, and I did an entire year alcohol free. And it wasn't so hard. I'm kind of like an on off type person. So I'm like, cool, I'm not drinking, I'm done. And, I think a lot of behavioral habits changed. I went through like a really big breakup, kind of made a bunch of new friends, got really healthy, started breath work. Like a lot of my societal, social changes happened during that time. And now I drink tea all the time. It's like 30 degrees here in Austin right now, so I'm like inside kind of bundled up. And so yeah, like a lot of my changes, like lifestyle changes happened, which I think is really important. If you're going to stop drinking or stop really doing anything, you can't just stop. that creates a space. Like, how do you fill that space with new things, whether you're it's just a job or a relationship or art or bad habits or whatever. It's like if you're gonna stop one thing, you gotta replace it with something positive. And so, that year, I just replaced it with a bunch of positive stuff. Like, got super healthy, got really spiritual, all around, just like made a bunch of new friends. Like, lifestyle just really increased. And so at the end of that year, I was like, maybe I'll go back to it. And it was always like, how does it feel? Do I want to go back? Do I need to go back? And I don't know. I mean, a lot of people drink for certain reasons, and like there's definitely like the social element where like it makes you feel more calm or like confident, or it eases the social lubricant, they say. But I just found it really cool to be able to like not rely on anything else to um I didn't need anything else to be who I am. Like, it wasn't like I need this to like help me do anything. I'm just gonna be who I am without anything. And really practicing that felt really good. And so whenever it came to this decision of like, do I want to drink, like, or do I not want to drink? Like, why do I want to drink? What would that do? How would that benefit me? What are the consequences? What are the impacts? And I just always chose like, nah, I'm not. I'm good. I'm good tonight. I'm good tonight. I'm good tonight. Like, not tonight. And it just like it always like, it's not that I like still. I'm not like I'm never gonna ever drink again. But I'm like, I always just come to this decision like splitting the road. I'm like, yeah, sure, it tastes good, and like I'm sure like has led to so many fun nights, but like, do I need that? And I just kept choosing no. And then at 2 years into this, 2021, 22, at the beginning of 2023, 2 years in, I went to go travel the world. So I set out on this trip to go travel open ended, and that trip was like an interesting one. It's like, I don't know, like I'm gonna be out there staying at hostels, meeting fellow travelers. Like, travelers like to party, and am I gonna drink or not? And it wasn't like I don't want to drink. It was like, I don't know, we'll see. And over the course of 9 months, I never drank, and I once again was like this split in the road of uh, do I want to drink or do I not want to drink, and like what are the consequences either way. And I just always chose not to drink. And so I was around all these people, and literally like 9 months, three continents, like all these epic adventures, faraway places. There was like two people who like really gave me shit about not drinking. Like, really, in the entire time, I just said, nah, it's not for me. I don't do it. And when you say it with your chest, like when you stand on it, people just like are cool. Like, they're like, oh, cool, no big deal. It's when you're like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't really. It's like, no, I just say it and you mean it. People hear you, and that works with a lot of things, like traveling, walking down the street in a foreign country. You're the only traveler, and you like stand on it, and like people can feel that energy. It works like across the board. So definitely, that's a whole other video. Believing in yourself. So yeah, for 9 months I didn't drink, and it was just like a really special thing to say, like, yeah, I could have at any of these moments, but I chose not to. And even now, it's like 3 years, no alcohol. Like, it just feels so good. It feels so good not to wake up hungover. It feels so good to get in my car and be able to drive home anytime. It feels so good to not spend the money. Like, really, it feels like the pros of not drinking far, far, far outweigh the cons. Like, really, like it when you throw it on the scale, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, never, never does it make sense. And of course, there's taste, and like I love whiskey, and like having a glass of wine with a dinner, blah blah blah. Like, there's like that makes sense. Like, I understand that, but every time when I come to that road, I just decide not to. And it's been really amazing. And I think societally it's really hard. One thing that was interesting traveling was that when I met people from other countries, a lot of countries have a lot of drinking culture. Like, you're always cheersing, you're always drinking. Like it's very heavy. Let's say Germany, right? But like even places in these countries where it's such a part of it, people were curious about not drinking, and they're like, "Oh, it's interesting. You don't drink. Why don't you drink?" Asking questions, and I could tell on a global shift that like the strangle hold of alcohol is like diminishing across the board. Like definitely young people around the world are drinking way less than they have before, which is just super cool. So I think day or two or three or four. I don't exactly remember the exact date. It's either the 15th or 16th or whatever. Columbia Airport was my last drink, and I don't know if you're thinking about not drinking or curious about it. You don't have to jump in like full speed. Like I took years and years of like slow diminishing my alcohol consumption, like slowly cutting back of like I'll drink less, not this month, not this 45 days, 2 months, and like eventually I was like, yeah, I'm down to try it for a year, and it just feels super good. So this is my long rant about not drinking. Tonight is video 54 of weekly YouTube videos, and it's freaking Sunday night, and I gotta post it. So I'm gonna post this. But I'll cheers you to alcohol free life. Are you doing it? Are you thinking about it? Have you tried it? Did you go back? Let me know. Cheers.